Okay, we're back, and now I'm going to start working on adjusting all the buttons to have to be more like pills instead of boxes with round corners, as you can see here where my mouse is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and inspect element. Obviously I'm using the browser I'm using is Google Chrome. So right click, inspect element, and then I get this pop-up window here, and I'm just going to bring it on the side here. Okay. So if I right click on this element, what I want to do is I want to change the border radius here. At the moment I can see it's probably set to about 2 pixels, which is giving it a nice little rounded edge on the corners. So let's go on, here it is, WebKit border radius. I'm going to change that to 12, and as you can see here the buttons have got now, they look more like a pill instead of a just a square or a rectangle with slightly rounded corners. But I want to make it more rounded. I'm going to change it to 15. See how it looks. Okay, 12 seems to be doing the job. And what about 11? No, 12. Let's just play it safe and go with 14. Okay. I'm also going to change for some reason the Salient button for the read more button is a black, and it's actually okay. We'll go with that. So that's the only thing I'm going to change. So what I need to do is I need to copy. If I want to change it in the settings, I need to copy all of this text. In particular, the WebKit border radius, the one that I just changed, and I'll copy that, and I'm going to go back to the Salient General Settings tab and go to the Custom CSS Code section. Let's create a new line here, and I'll click Paste. Now here I want to just remove all of these other elements because there's nothing else I want to change here. All I want to change is the border radius. So I'm going to change the border radius to 14 here, and also I'm going to include I'm going to include the Moz border radius, which is, I believe, it's already there. I'm going to include this line here. I'm just going to add it to the bottom there. This is just for other browsers. Some browsers don't support border radius with CSS, so I'm just covering my bases here. And whenever you're adding this, make sure that you close the curly brackets at the end of what you're doing there. I'll just make that 14. I'll remove this important because none of the other ones do. And then I'll save this, scroll up and click Save. Okay, and if I go back here and I refresh the page, okay, and now if I refresh the page, these buttons should stay rounded, so that's looking really cool. And the reason why I went with a rounded button design for this particular design is it just gives it a more human feel, and Three Peaks Payments House is really trying to differentiate themselves from the banks. So just giving it a more rounded feel for the buttons is going to help that help them achieve that goal. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the home page, and I can see that when I scroll down, the logo looks like it's getting lost. So I'm going to go back up here to General Settings, and I'm going to go to the header section here and logo upload. I did upload a logo, but it was a white logo with a transparent background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to be the correct logo with a darker logo. And the retina is double the size, exactly 200% of the original logo. And I'll update that. I'm going to go back to the home page and refresh. And if I scroll down, perfect. This logo is changing to the correct dark logo. And for me, it's actually quite small. I might want to just increase the size of that slightly. So if I go back here to the settings, and at the moment the heading, scroll down, the header logo shrinks to 52 pixels. So I'm going to increase that by 10 pixels. I don't want to make it too big. I just want to decrease it slightly. Okay, and now I'm just going to go refresh this page. Yeah, and I'm going to scroll down. Okay, and it's still giving me quite a small logo here. So I need to check and see why it's doing that. So I'm going to right click on the image and inspect the element. I'm going to try and find out what's going on. See, here it says the height is 26. So I want to increase that to maybe 36 and see what happens. Let's try 56. Let's try 86. But nothing seems to be happening. So I'll just investigate that a bit further. What happens if I change that to 0? See what happens if I save that. Let's reload the page. And as I can scroll down, you can see now it's not changing at all. Well, it's reducing slightly. And actually I think that's not it's still a bit big for me. So I still want to reduce that height on the scroll. So here's where we want to shrink header, resize on scroll. Yes, we want it to resize. Let's change it to 146 and see what happens there. I just want to see a change really, but before I wasn't seeing any changes. You can see that's just updating. I'm just going to refresh the page. And as I scroll down, Okay, something strange is happening here, so I want to just test this again and maybe make it a smaller number. I'll change it to, let's say 84. And see what that looks like. In my design, I've set it to be quite small, so I'm just going to click on the layer and then hold down the control key and click on the link here, and it's 53 millimeters high, pixels high. So if I change this to 53, it should work. It should shrink to 53 pixels, I would imagine. So I'll save that. But it is possible that it's changing the size of the width of the logo, which would be 192. But we'll see here as I scroll down. Okay, no, it's still really small. So I want to see what's happening here. It's going to right click on the image, and immediately if I scroll down here I can see that the image is 127 by 35 pixels. And why is it doing that? I'm not entirely sure. So I'm not sure why it's doing that. Let's change to a smaller number. Let's change it to, say, 6, which is the example that they've given here, and see what happens. It could be that I'm just setting it too high, and that's probably the case. And that's why it's going small. The smaller the number, the larger the number, then the bigger the increase, or the smaller it's getting. So let's refresh this page. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Okay, that's looking better. So I'm going to see what it does when I make it, let's say, 16. See, this is a little bit of a fiddly exercise, but we'll get there eventually. Unfortunately, the only way you can test it is trial and error for this particular thing that we're trying to change. Okay, but scroll down. That's nice. So the logo is starting to reduce nicely. It's still a bit big, so I'm going to try and make it 26, maybe even 22, and that should do it justice. That should bring it down to the amount or the size that we want. Okay, so I'm just going to refresh this page. And it has reduced again, which is really nice. And I think, according to my design, that looks about right. It's actually, yeah. It's actually, in my design I've got it a bit smaller, but I think that is fine, how it is there. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next section of the theme of the Salient theme settings. So I'm going to click on footer, and so we want, according to the design that we're going with, we've got a three-column footer here. So if I go back here, I'm going to go 3 columns. And so we want to customize the footer area, or the colors anyway. Automatically the theme has grey footer headers there. And I believe the design has white. So yes, we are going to want to use custom colors for the footer section. So I'll turn that on. And the background color, I'm going to choose a slightly darker color than what the theme has. I'm going to go with 111, 111. The footer font color, I'm going to go with a DDD. That's a bit. Let's go with E. And the second foot font color, let's make that white. The copyright section is this section here. And in the design, I think that was really quite dark, almost black. What is black? Okay. And the copy font color is it's quite dark as well. It's 888. So let's go here and make the background color 000, which is black, and the copyright color 7 should be fine. So let's also, we want the footy copyright section. At the moment the copyright is saying copyright 3 peaks, but we want to add all rights reserved, and website designed by Ubombo Solutions. So let's just add that. Well, let's change it to website by Ubombo Solutions. And I want to link to Ubombo Solutions. All right. Open a bracket and close a bracket. I'll go to the end of Ubombo Solutions and I'll close the bracket. So it's bracket / A and close that. Any A link needs an href, and for now I'm going to say equals hashtag, which is going to be a dead link for now until the Ubombo Solutions website is up and running. And we want the social icons we want, if we go back to our design, are LinkedIn, Google, YouTube, Facebook, and Google+. So let's add those. Facebook, Google+, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And let's save the changes. Okay, let's refresh this page and see how it's all looking. Okay, so it's looking quite good. The text is white, Well, I just want to check what the heading text color is. Yeah, it's white. And this text should be EEE. So that's quite a lot darker than we had in the design. So I just want to see what the design color is. It's actually a bit darker. It's CCC. So I want to go back to that color. It's not so in your face. So we'll go back to the settings and change the second font color to CCC. Okay. And that should be fine. Another thing I noticed is that the headings are actually quite small. Whereas in the design, I'd made them a bit bigger than... So in the design I've got 15 pixels and the font is medium. So I'm going to go back to the theme settings and go to typography and go to the footer headers and sidebar and carousel headers, and I'm going to make it 15, and I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to give it a bit more spacing between the letters. Let's give it that nice effect. I'm actually going to make it 16 because the font size is 16, and that should be nice. Okay. Okay, and if I refresh this page, we should see that the font color has actually gotten a bit darker, which it has, and the heading text is slightly larger than before. It's looking quite nice. And all our social media links are there. So now I'm going to go ahead and edit these widgets to match what we've got here in the design. So the heading for the first widget is quick links. So I'm going to open a new tab with appearance and widgets is where I want to go. And the footer area 1 is what I'm editing. As you can see from the design, this is footer area 1. And I want to grab a text. I want to drag a text box into that footer area. I'm going to change it to quick links, and I'm going to grab all the links that I've got here, and I'm going to put them in here like that. Now, if I don't select this checkbox, WordPress is going to automatically bring all these headers or headings in one line, which I don't want. I want it to automatically add paragraphs. Actually, in fact, I don't want to do that because then the spaces are going to be too big. I want to add some HTML here, a line break, which is going to create a nice small break. I'm going to add it after every line, except for the last one because there's nothing below it. So I'll save that and I'll go to the next one. The next one is, once again, it's just text. So I'm going to grab this text box and pull it into the footer area here. I'm going to add the text that I wanted to add. And as you can see from the design, the telephone, abbreviation of T, fax F, email. It's bold, and it's the blue, brand blue color. So I'm going to have to add some HTML here. Okay, first I'm going to just add this title. And to make something bold with HTML, what we'll do is you put a bracket, then type in strong, and then where you want to end the bold, I'll add the same thing, but with a / before the writing. So bracket / strong. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing for all of these. Okay, I'm going to keep going with this. Adding strong tags. Okay, and I want this view on Google Maps. If you go to the design, I want it to be in italics. So one way to do that is to start with a bracket, then EM, and close the bracket. EM stands for italic, and at the end, of course, we have to close it and start with a bracket, and before the writing you have a /, and then finish with EM, and that will be that will make that text italic. I also want this to be a link, so I'm going to put in a bracket, and at the end of that I'm going to do the same thing, but with the /, so bracket / a /. So that's going to be a link. Now to actually include a link that we want to put there, we have to write href equals quotation marks, and inside there is where we want to put our link. So I'm going to quickly go to Google Maps, and I'm going to find 3 Peaks. 3 Peaks, find town, and once that finds 3 Peaks, there we go. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this link up here, and I'm going to paste it into between the quotation marks. So another nice thing to add after that second quotation mark is title equals quotation mark, and inside the quotation marks I'll add Google 3 Peaks on Google Maps. Okay. So if I save this, actually before I save, I want to I'm going to save. Before I do that, I want to just add that break. So I'll add it to the end of each line. And there. And then I'll click save. I want to refresh this page and see how it looks. Okay, it's looking quite good. Okay, so you notice that this is now a link, If I click on the link, it opens in the same page. So to change that, I mean, you don't want users navigating off your website at any point unless they close the page. So what I want to do is, with that link, I want to make sure that the target is set to _blank. So just after the title, I'm going to add space target equals quotation mark, and I'll type in _BLANK. Okay. Now the other thing I noticed is that with the design, I've actually got quite a bit of space between the first letter and the colon here. I've just got double space. So how to create a double space with HTML? I'm just going to quickly Google it. HTML non-breaking space. And it's going to be this here. So it's ampersand NBSP semicolon. And I'm going to put 2 of those in succession. Right here. Actually, I only need 1, and then the other one can be a normal space. The other thing that I noticed from the design is that I want these to be blue. So the way to do that is to add a span around that letter and the colon. So I'm going to do a bracket, span, close the bracket, and just after the colon I'm going to add again span, the bracket, and then to close I'm going to put the / span and close the bracket. Now in here I need to say span class, or let's say span style equals quotation mark, and in here I'm going to write color colon hashtag, and then I'm going to find that blue color that we're using for our design. I'm going to copy this here, hashtag. And I'm going to add that here. So let me just copy this and paste it on every single letter address. And don't forget to copy and paste the closing tags. There we go. So I'm going to save that and refresh my page. Beautiful. So it's got it's a nice little touch, a design touch here. The next thing I want to do is I want this email to be a link, but I also want it to be a link, an email link that's hidden from spam bots and email spamming. So I'm going to go to this website called Albion Research. Just Google it, and the email address obfuscator page, and then I'm going to copy and paste my email address that I want to use there, click obfuscate, and then I'm going to copy this new code that it gave me, and it's just going to hide the email, so but also still you'll be able to link to that email. So I'm going to add that. I'm going to replace the email here. So here where it says info@3peaks.co.za, I'm going to replace it with the code that I was given. So that's saved, and if I refresh this page, okay, so now it's a link, and if I click on the link, it's going to open up my email browser. The other link we have here is view on Google Maps, and now it's opening in a new window because we added the HTML target underscore none. So that's perfect. And we've got one more widget area here that we want to change. If we go back to our design, it is slightly different to the other one. So I'm going to add that, copy that, and go to the widget. And once again, it's a text widget that we want. In footer area 3. And I'm going to, if I go back to my design, I can see that financial services provider is bolded. So I'm going to change that to strong. So I need to add the bracket, strong, close bracket, and then I'm going to finish that off at the end by adding a bracket, / strong bracket. And if I save that, okay, so it's there. That's where we want it. But I wanted this text to be a bit bigger, so I'm actually going to make it I'm going to give it a span style of, the font size needs to be 17. We might even go 18 over 20. 18 with a line height of 20 pixels. So let's go there, back here, and give it a span. Span style equals quotation mark, font size, colon, 18 pixels, semicolon, line height, colon, 20 pixels, semicolon, which will close that, and don't forget to close the span right at the end. You want to close it. So if I refresh my page, this text should become bigger, should increase in size. Okay, so it has increased in size, but it's also hidden some of the text. So I'm going to need to see where we've gone wrong there. I can see here I've actually don't have a closing bracket on this span, and that's why it's doing that. So I'll just save, and I'm going to refresh the page. Okay, so I don't like how this is breaking it. I wanted this to break over 2 lines, so in order to do that, I'm going to have to make it bigger. So I'll inspect the element, and I'm just going to fiddle around here and change it to 22. Okay, make it 23. Okay, make it 24. Okay, make it 25. Perfect. And I'm going to change the line height to 27. Okay, let's make it 30. And that's looking quite nice. Stands out. I'm going to increase the line height here. I think it's still a bit too tight. Okay, so that's looking quite nice. So 25 and 33 is what I want to change it to. 25 and 32. Actually, I want to make it 34. Let's make it 34. And it's looking quite nice. Okay, so that's the footer taken care of. So I can close this now. And now I'm going to go back to my theme settings. So we've covered footer, page transitions. This is just the way, this is some fancy user experience stuff. Animated page transitions. This will enable an animation between loading your pages. And I think the nice thing about that is that if a page is taking a while to load, that people don't get discouraged and think that the page is not going to load at all. So rather have this on, even if it does create a slight increase in loading time, it's going to affect it's going to help people stay interested in your site and at least wait for it to load a little bit. And the rest is fine. So I'll just save the settings. Next in the Salient theme settings is call to action. It's a bit of text that would appear, I believe, in all pages. It's basically a line that directs someone to do something. In the theme, here is a call to action ready to stand out. Take action by buying Salient now or reaching out to us. So that's what they're referring to as a call to action. And you can exclude it from appearing on different pages, which is nice. In fact, you might want to exclude it from all pages except one. You can change the background color. You can change the text and the button text. So in our design, we do have a call to action on the home page, but it's quite intricate as a call to action. I don't think it's going to appear on every single page. We might have a simplified version on other pages. So we're not going to utilize this function. We're just going to leave this and go on to the social media. So here in the social media section, so sharing button accent color. Let's just keep it on for now. And we want to include our clients' social media accounts, the URLs here. So I'm going to find 3 Peaks on Facebook. I'm going to find them on Google+. I'm going to find them on LinkedIn. I'm going to find them on YouTube. Okay, let's start with Facebook. Okay, I'm going to go to 3 Peaks. And in Google+, I'm going to for 3 Peaks. I might even just go to their website and take the links from there. Might actually be a little bit easier. Okay, so I found their YouTube page, and I'm just going to go back to home. There's the Google Plus page. Okay, and I'm going to go back to our theme settings, and I'm going to find my YouTube URL and paste that there. Facebook. And I've found their Facebook profile, so I'll copy and paste that link up here in the Facebook section. Here's their Google Plus page. And there's one more. LinkedIn is not cooperating. So let me try that again. Okay. And I'm going to paste that into here, LinkedIn. That doesn't look right. Perhaps it is. Okay. And I'm going to save this. And that's pretty much all I want to do with the theme settings. So I'm going to just take the video, I'm going to end the video here, and we'll start a new one tomorrow.